back to the water. Most of them will not be able to get back to the water. You have to dredge and destroy the ship. But besides that, of course, there's no power. Power also affects communication and also the water situation. There will be water filtration plants that are arriving in about less than an hour.
Mr. President, what about the loss of life? What are you being told, and what can the government do?
Well, the priority has to be to take care of the people who are alive, number one, and those who are injured. And then we are now actually tasking both the AFP and also the SWD to retrieve all of the bodies. I think the local government units have already designated areas for mass burials because they do pose a public health hazard. Identification for all of them, so that helps with the closure for this tragic incident. The numbers are really alarming, but it's still subject to verification.
Have you toured the area? Have you seen the devastation?
Through the air.
And what did you think when you saw it?
Well, especially for areas that are made of light materials and totally destroyed. The first question you ask is where can we house them temporarily while we build? We'll be building what we call bunk houses to house, the estimate is about 45,000 families, so that they will be sheltered from all the elements. But the priority now has to be the food, restoration of water, and power and communications.
Do you have enough food, enough supplies? Do you need to call on have you spoken to President Obama about more help?
Well, there have been, even without the calls to all of the world leaders, Singapore, even Hungary, Israel, Indonesia, so many others have already signified their intention to help. Moving the food from areas where there's an abundance to it is the main problem. We had to clear the roads also for land transport from the neighboring island and provinces of Sabah, and also sea lift for the tonnage that's involved. What we have been able to do is we have three C-130s that they have been the ones carrying the yeoman's load for the meantime. But we expect that situation. Private shipping is already committed to providing space for the tonnage that will be bringing in all the stuff.
Do you think you will need U.S. military assets to help?
Sorry, forgot to mention that. I understand that they'll be bringing also for water purification and perhaps lift, especially in helicopters.
Okay, so you're expecting some shipping, some US military ships. Can I ask you, you must be concerned about, we've seen Tacloban City, but beyond the city, we still don't know really what's going on. What do you think about that?
That's why we've been tasking our Department of Interior and local government to go and talk to each individual local executive to get whatever data that they do possess with the end view of determining which communities we lack information on, are isolated, so that we can send the necessary response.
But you need international help to provide enough relief.
All the help that will come in will undoubtedly ease the burden of our people quicker.
Can I ask you, we were here for the typhoon. It took about 24 hours before I started seeing helicopters. Are you happy with the timing of the response?
Well, the issue is the weather. You have to have after effects of it. Our weather bureau was saying that it was not the day after. They were advising not to fly the helicopters because of very strong winds. In fact, the ship that's bringing in the water purification systems is delayed by something like 3 hours, due to wave action. Of course, it's a transport ship. It's not designed for speed. I think in fairness to our personnel, they flew even when the conditions were not even marginal, they were actually hazardous, to try and effect as early as possible an area survey.
Have you committed every possible resource of the government to this cause?
Well, there are still other. Well, in terms of we will be adding personnel here. The local government unit has told us that a lot of their personnel are not reported. The police are reporting about 10% of their establishment area actually stuck to their posts. So we have augmented our security forces to about 300. Then the other functions of government will be provided by the various departments.
You made an unusual appearance on national television before the storm to tell people that Manila was ready to stand by, ready to help. Do you think that your words were encouraging people at the time? Do you think that it helped get people away from the most dangerous areas?
We think so. I was told today, for instance, that there were 20 landslides, And normally landslides are really very devastating for communities nearby. And as so far, and hopefully that will persist, there are no reports of any casualties from these 20 landslides.
That's great. Actually, I didn't ask you about that. I'm talking about Lepia. Obviously, there are other areas as well. What can you tell us about how badly hit other areas are and how concerned you are there?
Well, I'm going to Capiz, the province of Capiz, right after here. Again, they have the same reports, but I keep telling all of these local chief executives, if you're getting anecdotal information, doesn't really help. We really have to get boots on the ground and get all the necessary data. So we are directing, so that we can direct our assets and resources to where they're most needed and have it targeted. For instance, here we talk about power, we talk about food and water. So that is the priority. In other areas it might be medicine, in others it might be just clearing the national highways. So we want to be able to send the correct assets to address the correctly identified problems as soon as possible.
Are you satisfied, in your opinion, that the situation is under control?
I believe so, except this is the situation in Tacloban, especially with these reports of looting, is very new. Very new to our experience, collective experience as a country. And if we are to demonstrate, for instance, the packing of relief goods, either from Manila or from Cebu, there is quite a substantial amount, something in the neighborhood of about 20,000 food packs per day. But the idea of showing the people here that, look, you don't have to be desperate, it's coming, if it's not already on the way. And even if we get to land it here, how do you actually tell the people that, no, it's here? Because you don't have TV, you don't have radio, you don't have newspapers to be able to disseminate the information. Hence, the anxiety persists. So that is a new challenge for us.
Mr. President, thank you so much.
Thank you. Dadagdagan, no? Para ma-restore yung order. Pero hindi na yung security aspect, pero pati na rin yung yung problema, no? Paano may papakita na marami tayong relief goods na on the way o nandito na? Paano may pati-demonstrate na, okay, maglala sa tubig, dalawa na yung water purification darating na mas goods. Madadagdagan ng dalawa pa may tomorrow. So marami tayong tubig. Pero paano masasabihin sa lahat na nandito? Okay, maglala. Dahil wala kang TV, wala kang radyo, wala kang dyaryo, at wala mang Michelle man lang na parang magsabi, nakita ko na. Wala rin. So habang hindi nalalaman ng tao yun, so hindi dadala mo dito, tapos madala mo sa mga barangay. This afternoon, mga barangay na magdi-distribute tayo ng NFA rice. Yung NFA rice has about, yung warehouse here, has 114,000 sacks. Okay, that's good for pakidibay na lang. No? Pero ang consumption ng mga kababayan natin, 114 kilos per annum. Divide mo by 12. O yun yung per month. Di halos ano na yun. By 10 na lang. 11.4 kilos per month. Bahala ka naman compute. So may 3 million mahigit within the areas affected na sacks of rice. At 50 kilos per sack.
Iko-consider niyo po yung
recommendation? Nung sinabi nga yung looting, no, pinag-iisipan natin yung state of emergency martial law. Meron rin provision doon sa batas na talaga ng NDRRMC. It's para eksakto tayo. Republic Act 10121. Pag ineffective na or unable to perform yung functions sa LGU, pwede i-take over ng national government. Nire-recommenda ng NDRRMC. At yun ang pinasa atin ng LGU na Tacloban.
Sir, just in case ituloy nila yung recommendation nila, meron ba tayong nakikita kung sino mag-take charge dito sa Tacloban?
Well, tatalaga natin lahat ng departamento. Yung meron dapat nakatalaga para sa energy, may nakatalaga para sa communication, may nakatalaga para sa yung panigurado na yung, di ba, tatrabaho tayo para ating barangay. Functional yung barangay. So lahat yan, DSWD, DOH, etc. Magkapapadala bawat departamento na kakulang tao para yung sila mag-mandate ng lahat na nangyari. Tapos DILG ang magiging overall na supervisor. Until such time na mag-report ulit yung mga tao ng Tacloban City Government, for instance. No? Pag pwede nang ibalik sa kanila yung tungkulin, responsibilidad, na regain nila yung ability na to run the city, siya po maganda.
Thank you.